Hello everybody and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It is myself George with a brand new movie review, and this time we are reviewing White Noise, which releases on Netflix worldwide tomorrow, which has been in cinemas for a while and across the festival circuit. Of course directed by Baumbach and starring Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig, making a lovely reunion based off some of their other work. And I'm going to give my thoughts on the film. I'm not going to do spoilers or anything like that. But as I said, this is streaming worldwide tomorrow. You'll be able to get the chance to see it. You might have already seen it at the cinema. So comment your thoughts if you have seen it already. Let me know your thoughts on White Noise. Did you enjoy the film? What are your thoughts on it? Let us know some of your other favourite work by not just Adam Driver, but Greta Gerwig and Noah as well. There's a lot that they've done together. There's a lot they've done incredibly individually. And of course, we've got Barbie coming out next year as well. So please do comment your thoughts. And if you want to know more about our other reviews, upcoming videos, the best thing to do is to follow us on our social medias, Facebook and Instagram. No, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy, Twitter and Instagram @cinema_savvy, and a link to Redbubble in the description below. You can get merch, all that sort of stuff. All the links are in there. Go check that out. It's much easier than me repeating it as always. But I'm going to give my thoughts on the film, and it's a pretty interesting one. So if I take my mind back to lockdown, there was suddenly this talk of Noah Baumbach getting a $150 million budget film. Very peculiar. If you look at his other films, he's not done big blockbusters of the sort. But it's Netflix, so you can expect them to give a film a $150 million budget when it really doesn't need that much. And that's just how they operate, that's how they roll, that's how they've always done it. And no one knows why, but we all know they're making losses as time goes by. And White Noise is a really interesting one because, of course, as a massive Adam Driver fan, I'm always curious about what projects he does. He's obviously worked with Noah on multiple films before. Of course, Greta Gerwig's working on it as well, who's his partner in real life, and she's been in, of course, led Frances Ha, been in a few other things with him, and they're writing Barbie together. So I was really curious when this was announced. And I'm not going to lie, when I realised what White Noise is about, I know it's a book. I know it's been adapted, of course, for this. But it's, of course, about a sort of pandemic. And I say a sort of pandemic. I've not read the book, so I don't know what differs and what doesn't. But we're following this family in the 80s during a pandemic. And, you know, we know what we've lived through for the last couple of years. And personally, I'm not too keen on these kind of films at the moment. So maybe I went in with the wrong attitude. I actually saw this film the night I saw Avatar: The Way of Water for the second time. So I'd already seen a 3-hour plus film that day. And it was very late when I put this on. I was very grateful to get the chance to see this film early. But I was curious, and as I said, I'm there for Adam Driver more than anything. And I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to be straight up and say I was quite disappointed by this. And I'm trying to put my mind on why. Because if you look at the work that Noah's done in the past, he, you know, of course, he's written films with Wes Anderson as well. He's gone for that sort of witty, that sort of side humour. But there's just something really off about White Noise that I couldn't really comprehend, and it just didn't work for me. And I think that happens with films sometimes. It doesn't matter who's in it, who directs it. You just have films that you just don't click with. And I think where I'm lost in this is the writing, that at no point do I ever care for the main family, and that's the family we're following. And I think that's because of some of the individual choices that some of the characters make, what their allegiances are to. We've got Don Cheadle in a bonkers supporting role as well. Loads of supermarket stuff, a weird end credit sequence. It's very different, and there's going to be people that absolutely love this. Do not get me wrong, and there are people that are. But this is just something that just hasn't worked at all for me. And I really struggle to put my mind down to what it is. I'm not going to talk about the finale to the film. If you've obviously seen it, you'll know what that's about. That's a very delicate subject that I'm not in the best of situations to talk about, especially doing this, you know, before the films come out. I'm not going to tamper with any experience going into the film, but the film didn't go, not how I wanted or thought it would go, but it suddenly diverted. And I think what's obviously happened with COVID, maybe this film was in the pipeline before, maybe this wasn't. Maybe Netflix thought, hey, great, you know, a pandemic type film about how people should be alert, great. It just didn't click for me. And I don't know if it's because it's come out so late in the year. I don't know if it's because I watched it at 11 o'clock at night. Something was just off, and unfortunately I lost myself in that process. And I've been a fan of his other work, especially some of his recent stuff, and I think for the comedy side point, didn't work to the best. But I'm talking about the individual actors and the performances. Adam Driver was great in it. I mean, he's great in pretty much everything. He is my favourite actor, so I'm obviously going to be biased in that respect. But as a sort of, not a leading actor because we know he is, but as this family, sort of disjointed family type man, I wasn't really sold on it. And I'm in this weird mindset where I still think he's too young to have played the role he is. That, you know, when you're meant to be playing a sort of weathered lecturer, probably in their mid-50s. Adam Driver in a Fat Suit I don't think is the answer. Yes, you're going to get one of the best actors working today, but something felt lost in the casting for me. Greta Gerwig as well. I think she's underused. And then because of those two and their relationship, I just didn't care about the rest of their family, and that puts me in a really difficult situation following them for 2 out of 3 acts about this family during a pandemic. And I think that's where I'm at the core not working with. Now, maybe it's a film I need to see again. Maybe it's a film that other people have read differently and accepted differently. Maybe they've read the book and know, but it just felt like a 3-point story, but the points weren't really connected with one another. It's almost like short stories, but it happened to the same family. And personally, I don't think it worked. I struggled with the runtime due to this. I struggled with the script. And I'm not going to lie, I was really happy when the film ended that I could, turn it off, essentially. So it's a bit of a downer for me. Danny Elfman's score, though, I will say, Danny Elfman's got a great score in this. A couple of good tracks, they're online. But yeah, the rest of it, I just can't. There's not too much to talk about. It's a very short review. It's a very different review. And I have lost my voice because of the football the other day, which doesn't help me trying to drag it out any longer than this needs to be. But alas, I'm not White Noise the film, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm already going to hand over to all of you in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on White Noise. Maybe tell me I'm wrong, or let me know, maybe I read it differently to you did, or it's come across to me differently. I just want to hear people's thoughts on this. Is it a film that I think a lot of people are going to see on Netflix? I don't think so. Listen, as much as I love Adam Driver, I don't think he's a sort of household everyone's going to click play when this pops up on Netflix on Friday. I think it's going to be very much still Glass Onion is the one people are watching, the one they're talking about. And there's a series coming out on Sunday, which I think is going to be one of those shows that blows up that a lot of normal people take themselves to, based off, not a gimmick, but a kaleidoscope to a really interesting setup. So stick around for that later this week. But yeah, it's a shorter review. Maybe it's the shortest new review of the year. I don't have much to say about it. It's a disappointing one. I'll give it that because, listen, Adam Driver's on an incredible streak, and then we had House of Gucci. But, next year we've got 65, we've got him fighting dinosaurs, he's got Ferrari in a Michael Mann film, there's going to be Megalopolis, don't know how to pronounce it, the new Coppola film, so he's got some great stuff in the pipeline. Greta Gerwig's directing Barbie. The trailer looks incredible. Ironically, I saw White Noise the day of the trailer for Barbie, so everything seemed to work. And the same week, 65 had its trailer. But then I don't think what's helped me in the memory since, because I'm recording this just under two weeks after seeing the film, I've seen Chernobyl since then, which is one of the best miniseries I've ever seen in my life. Obviously building up to a big show coming out in January, The Last of Us. And, pandemic versus, potential nuclear devastation. Yes, one's real, one's fictional. But it's hard for me to take something like White Noise not even seriously, but Chernobyl's just sort of bellowed over everything I've seen for the last few weeks. It's all I can really think about in truth and been doing my research on. So it's a very weird timing for me. Maybe I should have recorded this earlier. I might have had more to say, but unfortunately I don't, and it's not a film I'm going to be back in a rush to see. So that's going to round out for my review for this. Would I recommend it to you? Honestly, no. If you're a fan of any of the actors, I'm sure you'll be watching it regardless. If you're a fan of the director, you'll be involved regardless. But outside of that circle, I really don't see this being something many people jump to. I know that I think there's maybe a nomination in the Golden Globes or the Critics' Choice Awards, but I don't think that's going to carry over into the main award season that we get with BAFTAs and Oscars. Of course, Netflix have done their weekly Fridays where they're pushing all their Oscar films with the Friday streaming release across December. And I think this is a really strange one for them to end this mini streak on, and also round out as the last review we'll be doing for 2022. So yes, very strange on that behalf. And kind of talking about the end of 2022, we've got a couple of things happening on the channel, so do subscribe if you want to find out what those are going to be. We've got a New Year's stream where we'll be going over some stuff that's going to happen, shows you can expect to see on the channel. We've got the James Cameron retrospective starting on Wednesday, so that's been deep in the pipeline from prep for a few weeks, and a lot of other things. We've got some great guests that we've got lined up, people who've seen the channel, people who haven't. So there's a lot happening on Cinema Savvy, but of course we've got new releases. We're going to have The Fablemans in January, there's Babylon, there's Last of Us, so many things are happening. So White Noise will soon be a thing of the past, as will 2022. So let me know your thoughts maybe on the state of film for this year as well. Of course, if not, save it for that live stream where we'll probably talk more about how the year's gone, box office, things we've enjoyed, things we haven't, what we're looking forward to next year. So that's going to do it for today's review. Thank you all for watching, and see you on the next one. Take care.